Others.
Okay. Good morning, students. So, in the last class, we have studied about different types of adaptations which are found in self-pollination and as well as cross-pollination. Okay. So, these adaptations of cross-pollination, those are also known as outbreeding device. Okay. In the textbook, the heading is the outbreeding devices. Okay. So, outbreeding devices means the adaptations which are occurring in cross pollination. Okay, the adaptations of cross pollinations are also known as outbreeding devices. Got it? So please don't confuse yourself with the outbreeding devices. Got it? Okay. So in this class we will be studying about the pollen pistil interaction. Okay. So the pollen pistil interaction means the male gamete and male reproductive part and the female reproductive part. Whenever they fuse, then only the fertilization events will take place. Okay, what are those events? Okay, how they interact. In that that concept we will be studying today. The pollen pistil interaction. So we will be studying the fusion of these two male and female gametes in this heading. Okay, under this heading, pollen pistil interaction. So the pollen pistil interaction is can be defined as the events which take place. The events which take place during or I will just write it. Not during, the events which take place from deposition of pollen grain, deposition of pollen grain, deposition of pollen grain on the stigma and the entry of pollen tube and the entry of pollen tube in the ovule. Okay, so these are main 2 points here. One is the deposition of the pollen grain on the stigma and the entry of pollen tube in the ovule. The events which take place during this whole process. Okay, as this whole process, those events will be called as pollen pistil interaction, which means I will tell you an example. Say for example, if the pollen grain falls on the stigma portion of the pistil, okay, it has to travel all the way to reach the ovary, and inside the ovary, ovules will be there. Finally, the pollen grain will make its entry in the ovule. Okay, what the different types of events will take place during this phenomena. Okay, those phenomena are known as pollen pistil interaction. Okay, so let us I will tell you one more time the definition. The events will take place from deposition of pollen grain on the stigma and the entry of pollen tube in the ovule. Okay, so the events will take place during these two processes. Okay, or from pollen tube, from pollen grain falling on the stigma to until it reaches the pollen tube, until it reaches the ovule. Okay, those events are called as pollen pistil interactions. So several kinds of pollen pistil interactions will be there. So first pollen pistil interaction, we will try to study one by one. First, I will try to draw the diagram of stigma over here. Say for example, So this is the stigma portion. Okay. And here I am drawing the pollen grain. Pollen grain. Okay. Generally, what happens is, say for example, I am going to draw one more pollen grain over here. Okay. So this pollen grain which I have drawn in red color image is the compatible one. Compatible pollen grain. And the black, the one which I have drawn in the black is non-compatible. Non-compatible pollen grain. Non-compatible pollen grain. Okay, first I will try to tell you what compatible pollen grain is and what non-compatible pollen grain is. Okay, so say for example, if the flower is undergoing pollination. Okay, so as you know, pollination takes place with varieties of agents, biotic agents as well as abiotic agents. Wind, abiotic agents means wind or water, or biotic agent means insects or any kind of animal which is bringing the pollen grain, which is bringing a pollen grain from anther of one flower to the stigma of the other flower. It may be either of the cases, okay, in self pollination as well as in cross pollination. Okay, in both the cases, the pollen grain is coming from anther to the stigma portion, right? So, if say for example, we'll take an example of the flower over here. This is some flower, okay, which is having the female reproductive parts, stigma, style, and ori, nothing but pistil. So this is the stigma portion. Okay. Say for example, the pollen grain is coming from the another flower. So say for example, these are different types of pollen grains which are carried by wind. Got it? So just I am giving you a brief idea. Okay. Say for example, this is a flower, female flower, which is having pistil. The main portion is stigma over here, which receives the pollen grain. Okay, the pollen grain is brought by, or the wind is bringing those pollen grains. Okay, these pollen grains may be of different types. Okay, for example, there are varieties of pollen grains because wind will not carry only one type of pollen grains. Okay, wind will carry multiple types of pollen grains, right? So, say for example, both the pollen grains come and fall on the stigma portion, right? So, here the flower has a mechanism inside it which recognizes its own pollen grain, or the pollen grain which has to germinate on the stigma. Okay, which means, say for example, there are two types of pollen grains which are coming in contact with the stigma portion, right? Okay, so here this stigma and this pollen grain, they interact, okay, or they communicate. The stigma and pollen grains interact. Okay, that means they talk to each other. Okay, for example, they talk to each other. But here the language is not the way we speak. Okay, we speak Kannada, English. The language will not be in that manner. Here the language will be of chemical signals. The language is chemical signals. Is by chemical signals. Okay. So once the pollen grain of two different types from the stigma. Okay. The stigma will contact with this pollen grain and ask what kind of, whether you are compatible pollen grain or Got it? Compatible means it will take the compatible which is of its choice. Say for example, compatible is the one which is received by the stigma portion, right? So the compatible means the stigma portion will receive only compatible pollen grains. Got it? It will not receive the incompatible. Okay, whenever both the pollen grains, compatible as well as non-compatible pollen grain or incompatible pollen grain, they fall on the stigma. Stigma will interact with the pollen grains and ask whether you are compatible or not. It will only receive the compatible pollen grain and it will reject the incompatible one. Got it? So this interaction generally takes place with the help of chemical signals. Got it? So this is the first event which is occurring. So that the next event is say for example, now the stigma has received the compatible pollen grain. Say for example, this is a compatible pollen grain. Compatible pollen grain. Now that the stigma has received the compatible pollen grain, I have written stigma here. Okay. So stigma has received the compatible pollen grain. As you know already, this interaction takes place with the chemical signals, right? So now we already know that the pollen grains are shed at two different. The pollen grains are of two different types. They are shed in 2 cell stages as well as in 3 cell stages. In some plants, the pollen grains are shed at 2 cell stage, and in some plants, the pollen grains are shed at 3 cell stage. Okay. The pollen grains are shed at 2 or 3 celled stages. Okay. For example, if you can recall the structure of pollen grain, okay. So generally the structure which is given in the textbook is of 2 cell stage. Okay. For example, I will try to draw the pollen grain once again. If you can remember the pollen grain structure, it will be having an enzyme, outer enzyme, inner intine, and there will be 2 cells, right? So 2 cells are, one will be the with large nucleus, this is vegetative cell, and the other with small nucleus, and it will be floating inside the vegetative cell is generative cell. Right? So this is the structure of pollen grain. So this is a 2-celled stage. Okay. So once, say for example, if the pollen grain which is coming in contact with the stigma is of 2-celled stage, then what happens? The generative cell generally is used for the nourishment of this. Vegetative cell generally nourishes the generative cell. Okay. So what happens? This generative cell divides giving 2 male gametes. Got it? So generally the vegetative cell will degenerate, which means the vegetative cell provides all its nourishment to the generative cell, and the generative cell, once it reaches the stigma portion, okay. So this case, generative cell divides giving 2 male gametes. Okay, that takes place when the pollen grain falls on the stigma portion, right? Okay, I will write it. This generally happens when the pollen grain falls on the stigma. First, the pollen grain, as it falls, the pollen Okay, one more thing I forgot here is the structure of pollen grain. We will be having a germ pore, right? Germ pore. Okay, if you can recall the structure of pollen grain correctly, it will be having a germ pore where the spore pollen will not be there, right? Okay, and the vegetative cell will be there and the generative cell will be there. Generally, what happens? These pollen grain, the drawing which I have drawn here is of two cell stage. The pollen grain is of two cell stage. Okay, so this vegetative cell degenerates and the generative cell divides into giving two male gametes. Okay, so this division takes place when once the pollen grain comes in contact with the stigma. There are generally two main events which take place. I will try to write it over here. The first major event which takes place once the pollen grain reaches the stigma is germination of pollen tube. Germination of pollen tube. Germination of pollen tube. First event is germination of pollen tube, and the second event is division of generative cell or generative cell divides, giving two male gametes. Okay, so these two events take place whenever the compatible pollen grain falls on the stigma portion of the female reproductive part, right? So when pollen grain falls on the stigma, mainly two events will take place. First one, germination of the pollen grain. Okay, germination of the pollen grain means this pollen grain which I have drawn here. Okay, here is the germ pore. Okay, this pollen grain I will try to draw small pollen grain. PG means pollen grain. Okay, through germ pore, say for example here is the germ pore, the pollen tube will be germinated like this. Okay, or I will just simply draw a small one. Okay. Okay, so this is pollen tube. Got it? The main two events which take place are, first one is germination of pollen tube and the second one is generative cell divides giving two male gametes. Okay, so these two events will take place. Then, so hopefully you have understood. Now I will try to remove it. Or one more thing I will try to tell you. As I said, if the pollen grain is of two cell stage, it will be having two cells. One is vegetative cell and the other is generative cell. Vegetative cell provides nourishment to the generative cell, and the generative cell divides, giving two male gametes. Right? If the pollen grain is of three cell stage, okay, if the pollen grain is of three cell stage, means the three cells, I will just remove this diagram. If the pollen grain is of three cell stage, which means one will be vegetative cell. Say for example, this is the pollen grain. It will be having three parts or three cells. Okay, so one will be vegetative cell, and other two will be with two male gametes. Got it? So if the pollen grain is of three cell stage, which means the two male gametes are already present inside the pollen grain. Okay, so it will not divide. Here the generative cell is not there, so it will not divide. The two male gametes are already present inside the cell. Okay, the other one will be vegetative cell, giving nourishment to the male gametes. Got it? So if the three cell stage means the two gametes, male gametes are already present inside the pollen grain. If the pollen grain is of two cell stage, that means two cells are vegetative cell and generative cell. The generative cell divides giving two male gametes. If the pollen grain is of three cell stage, which means one will be a vegetative cell and the other two will be two male gametes. Got it? So this is the main idea here. Now, once the pollen grain divides to giving two male gametes, these both events takes place simultaneously. Okay, germination of pollen tube. Say for example, this is a pollen grain, and here the germ pore will be there. Pore will be there, and the pollen tube just started to germinate. This is a pollen tube. Okay, and there are two cells will be there, generative and negative. This cell, the male gametes will be produced here. Okay, so here the generative cell divides and gives two male gametes. Okay, so these two male gametes starts traveling through this pollen tube. Okay, so now I will try to draw the diagram. Okay, diagram of female reproductive part, that means pistil. So this is a stigma, and this is a style, and this is a ovary. Okay, so the pollen has fell on here on the stigma portion. Okay, now that it has started germinating pollen tube, so this is a pollen tube, PT, pollen tube, or we'll just write here pollen tube. Okay, so this pollen tube makes its entry through this stigma. It will travel all the way from style and reaches the ovule. So reaches the ovule. I will just draw the diagram of ovule here. So here inside this ovule will be there. Okay. It will make its entry through the ovule, and say for example, so this will be the micropylar end, then this is chalazal end. Okay, so it comes to the micropyle end of the, say for example, here the micropyle will be there. Okay, it will enter here, and here three cells will be there. Those three cells are nothing but egg apparatus. This is nothing but egg apparatus. As if you can recall the structure of this ovule, okay, you can recall there will be egg, the micropyle end will be having the egg apparatus. The egg apparatus consists of two synergids, and one egg shell will be there. One egg cell. Okay. Opposite to micropyle end, chalazal end will be there. Again, there will be three cells. So these are antipodal cells. You got it? So it will reach with the pollen grain. Once the pollen grain falls on the stigma portion, so it will germinate. The first thing, the pollen grain will germinate to giving rise to pollen tube, and the second thing, generative cell divides into giving two male gametes. Okay, so those male gametes which are produced, they travel all the way through this pollen tube. Okay, then that pollen tube will move through the stigma and style, and finally reaches the ovary. Inside the ovary, it reaches the it enters the ovule from micropyle end. Okay, so micropyle end, the male gametes, they will be, I will just write the points here. The pollen tube germinates, the first point is over here, germination of pollen tube, and the second point, the generation of cell, generative cell divides giving two male gametes. Then the pollen tube will travel through style and reaches ovary. Okay, so inside the ovary, or just a light in ovary, this pollen tube makes its entry through micropyle end. Okay, so in the micropyle end, what will be there? In the micropyle end, egg apparatus micropyle end, egg apparatus will be there. Egg apparatus will be there. So this egg apparatus constitutes two synergids, and one egg cell. Okay, so these are the various events which take place during this pollen pistil interaction. All these events, okay, so will come under pollen pistil interaction. Got it? So what are the different events? First one, the pollen pistil interaction means the events which take place from the deposition, okay, from the deposition of pollen grain, which means I will try to tell you one more time. Pollen pistil interaction means the events which take place from the deposition of pollen grain on the stigma to the until the pollen tube reaches the micropyle end of the ovule. Okay, so these events, there are different events, right? So first one is germination of pollen tube, generative cell divides giving two male gametes, and the third one is pollen tube will travel through the stigma, travel through the style and reaches the ovary. Inside the ovary, the pollen tube makes its entry through micropyle end, and through the micropyle end it will reach the egg apparatus. Inside the egg apparatus, it will be having, the egg apparatus will be having two synergids and one egg cell. The male gametes are discharged in synergid cells. Okay, I will write one point here. The two male gametes are discharged in synergids. Okay, so these are different types of events which occur during pollen pistil interaction. Got it? So okay, so fully well understood. I will just simply repeat one more time. Generation of pollen tube, germination of pollen tube, second generative cell divides giving two male gametes. The third one is pollen tube will travel through the style and reaches the ovary. Inside the ovary, the pollen tube makes its entry through micropyle end, and through the micropyle end, the male gametes will the pollen tube makes its entry in egg apparatus. Inside the egg apparatus, where it goes, it reaches the synergid cells. Okay, these are different types of events which occur during pollen pistil interaction. Now we will try to understand the next concept, which is known as artificial hybridization. Okay. Okay, before going into before we start artificial hybridization, you can make an experiment. Okay, say for example, you can collect various pollen grains which we can see. Okay, of different plants. Okay, so you just collect those pollen grains and keep them on a slide. Say for example, these are various pollen grains. You have to just keep them on a slide, and to the slide you have to add around 10% sugar solution. 10% sugar solution. Okay, and wait for around 15 to 20, 15 to 20 or 15 to 30 minutes. Wait for 15 to 30 minutes. Okay, so you can visually see through the microscope. If you can observe these slides under microscope after 15 to 30 minutes, you will observe the germination of pollen tube. Okay, how the pollen tube will arise from the pollen grain, that you will be able to see. Okay, this experiment, it's very easy experiment. You can perform this experiment in your home also. Unless you should have a microscope to observe all these things. Okay. Okay. Now, the next topic we will be studying is artificial hybridization. Artificial hybridization. Artificial hybridization. Okay. So to perform artificial hybridization, you should have the knowledge of this pollen pistil interaction. Okay. So if you know how the pollen and pistil interact, means the various events which occur in pollen pistil interaction, if you have the idea, then only you can perform this artificial hybridization. I will tell you what artificial hybridization is. Okay. So artificial hybridization means crossing of two desired or crossing of two species of or crossing of two species to combine the desired characters to produce commercially superior varieties. Okay, so which means artificial hybridization. Okay, hybridization means if you go to market, okay, we'll see varieties of hybrid varieties. Say for example, banana variety will be there. What is that? Brinjal variety, hybrid variety will be there. Means now Kannadadaga ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ ಜವಾರಿ ತಳಿ ಆಮೇಲೆ ಹೈಬ್ರಿಡ್ ತಳಿ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. So hybrid ಅನ್ನೋದಿದ್ರೆ hybrid nothing but hybridization process ಇಂದ ಮಾಡಿದಂತ ತಳಿಗಳು. Okay, so these are not naturally occurred. These are artificially made artificially hybridized varieties, which means hybridization means crossing of two species to combine desired character to produce commercially superior variety. Got it? So say for example, I will take an example of tomato here. Tomato means it's a hybrid variety which is produced by mixing two types of characters of potato and tomato. Okay, so So if you can see the what is potato, if you have seen the potato will not be having seeds, whereas this tomato will be having seeds. Okay. Now tomato, as we know, tomato we will use tomato for variety of purposes, right? So because of its taste and its color. Okay. Now some scientists, okay, some person, okay, they are interested in combining these two characters. They don't want to get seeds in the tomato, and they need only fruity part. Okay. So what they have decided? They have decided to produce potato and tomato. Okay. The hybrid will be having the hybrid. Whatever the hybrid is produced, that is known as tomato. Okay, so the complete flesh will be having tomato like this potato. Sorry, here it will be like tomato like fruity, but it will not be having seeds. Okay, so this is one hybrid variety. This is like this variety of hybrid varieties are there, or so many hybrid varieties are there. Sorry, not BT. Brinjal, hybrid brinjal is there, hybrid bananas are there. Okay, so many varieties. So how those hybrid varieties are produced, that we are going to study. Okay. So now artificial hybridization means crossing of two species to combine desired characters to produce commercially superior variety. The variety which is produced is of superior quality, right? So this is artificial hybridization. So this artificial hybridization is generally performed to improve the crop varieties. Okay. Sorry students for the inconvenience. Okay. So we were discussing about the artificial hybridization. Okay. Artificial hybridization can be carried out with the help of two kinds of techniques. So one important technique is emasculation. And the other is bagging. Okay. So emasculation, which means here we will be generally using bisexual flower. I am going to draw bisexual flower over here. Say for example, this is a bisexual flower and this is a female reproductive part. Okay, this is pistil. And the male reproductive part will be stamen. Okay, in emasculation, what we will do, we generally cut these stamen with the help of forceps. Forceps is a cutter. Forceps is nothing but in Kannada forceps we call it as chimta anta helthivi Kannada. Chimta with the help of forceps we will remove this stamen portion. That means male reproductive part. We will remove the male reproductive part. Okay, when we remove these male reproductive parts here, and this male reproductive part you have to remove before its maturation. Okay, before maturation only you have to remove the male reproductive part, that is stamen. Okay, once you remove the stamen, you have to cover the flower immediately with the help of a bag. Generally the bag will be of butter paper. So when you remove the male reproductive part from the flower, there is no chance of the pollen grain to fall on the stigma portion. So here no pollination will take place. Okay. Then once you remove the male reproductive part, immediately you have to cover the flower with the help of bag. That bag is generally made up of butter paper. Okay, this kind of technique where you are removing the male reproductive part, stamen, with the help of forceps, that is known as emasculation. and the process of covering the flower with the help of bag-like structure, or which is made up of butter paper, is known as bagging. Okay, generally, this bagging can be done for bisexual flower or unisexual flower. Unisexual flower. If the flower is bisexual, you have to remove the male reproductive part stamen and remove and you have to cover the flower with the help of bag or bag which is made up of butter paper. The process of removing stamen is known as emasculation, and the covering with the help of butter paper, that process is known as bagging. Okay. Generally, this bagging, the importance of bagging is bagging prevents the entry of unwanted pollen grains. So, bagging removes or it prevents the flower from getting unwanted or contaminant pollen grain. So, there is no fertilization. Okay, this process is known as bagging. Once this emasculation and bagging process is over, then what you have to do? You have to wait until the pistil portion get matured. Then first we have to wait for the pistil to get matured. Once the pistil gets matured, then what you have to do? You have to remove the bag. First you have to remove the bag. Then you have to dust the pollen grain or desired pollen grain on the stigma portion. Desired pollen grain on the stigma portion. So this process where you are taking the desired pollen grain for pollination, and once you pollinate with the desired pollen grain, again you have to cover the flower with the bag. Okay, so this process where you are pollinating the flower with the help of desired pollen grains to get desired characters. So this kind of process will improve the crop variety, or it will lead to superior variety of crop. Okay, this kind of process is known as artificial hybridization. So to perform artificial hybridization, you need two types of techniques. First is emasculation, which means removal of male reproductive part from the flower, and bagging, which protects the flower from contamination. These kind of techniques are used for improvement of crops. So this is artificial hybridization is a technique, is one of the techniques which is used for crop improvement. Okay. So till now we have studied the process of pollen pistil interaction and artificial hybridization. Both pollen pistil interaction we have studied, as well as the artificial hybridization, how it is carried out, that we have studied. Now we are going to look at the process of fertilization. Fertilization. Process of fertilization will start from where we left. Okay, pollen pistil interaction. The last part of the pollen pistil interaction. The last point is the two male gametes are discharged in the synergid cells. Right. Two male gametes are discharged in synergid cells. Right. So once two male gametes are discharged in synergid cells, you might remember that these synergid cells have filiform apparatus. filiform apparatus. The main function of the filiform apparatus is to guide the pollen tube. Say for example, I am going to draw the embryo sac here. We will just recall the structure of embryo sac. The embryo sac contains a large central cell with two polar nuclei. One end is called chalaza and the other end is called micropyle. And on the micropyle end, three cell structure will be there. That we will call it as egg apparatus. Three cell structure. This is called as egg apparatus. Egg apparatus. In egg apparatus, two cells or synergids. Two synergid cells will be there, and one egg shell will be there. Okay, I am just trying to tell you, among three cells, two are synergid cells and one egg shell. I am going to I have already drawn here. These two are synergid cells and this is egg shell. Okay, so now on the synergid cells you will be having minute finger-like structures. Those are known as filiform apparatus. Filiform apparatus. Filiform apparatus. Okay, I am just trying to tell you about the movement of these male gametes. The movement of male gametes starts from, I am going to draw one more diagram here. Here the stigma portion, and this is style, and this is the ovary. Inside the ovary, this whole cell will be there. Once the pollen falls on, say for example, I am going to draw the pollen with the help of black color. These are the pollen. They fall on stigma portion, and once pollen starts, what happens? There are two main processes will take place. One is the stigma will lead to the germination of pollen tube. So that means the pollen tube will come out through the germ pore, and it will start entering the stigma, and through style it will reach the ovary. Once it reaches the ovary, it will enter the ovule through micropyle end. Micropyle end. The same thing I am going to draw here. I have already drawn here. This is chalaza end. This is micropyle end. Okay. I am going to use the same color, black color, to show the movement of pollen tube. Say for example, this is a ovary, or let me draw it with a different color. So the red color represents the structure of ovary. So again I am using the black color to show the movement of pollen tube. Pollen tube enters the ovary here. From this portion I am going to draw. Enters the pollen ovary here, and it enters the synergid cells through micropyle end. Through micropyle. Okay, micropyle is a gap. Okay, through that gap, the pollen tube, black color represents the pollen tube. So pollen tube enters the ovule or embryo sac from micropyle end. In the micropyle end, synergid cells will be there, and on the synergid cells, filiform apparatus will be there. That filiform apparatus will guide the pollen tube where to release the male gametes. This pollen tube carries two male gametes, right? Those two male gametes are released in the synergid cells here. So these are male gametes. So there are two male gametes. So these two male gametes are released in synergid cells. Among two, I will just remove this structure. You just remember these names, okay? Now I'm going to write the functions here. As the male gametes are released in two male gametes are released in synergid cells. Synergid cells have filiform apparatus which guide the pollen tube. Then, as the male gametes reach the synergid cells, one male gamete, one male gamete is here. The one male gamete will fuse with this is synergid cell and this is egg shell. Okay. So among two male gametes released in synergid cells, one will move to the egg apparatus and fuse with the nuclei of egg shell. Okay. So this whole structure fusion, this represents the fusion. Fusion of one male gamete with the nuclei of egg cell. So here there are mainly two male gametes are released. Among two, one male gamete will fuse with the nucleus of egg shell. So this process we call it as syngamy. So this process we call it as syngamy. So this process is known as, or means the fusion of the male gamete with the nucleus of egg cell. So it is known as syngamy. Here after syngamy the egg cell becomes diploid, or we can call it as zygote. Syngamy, the process is called as syngamy. Then the egg shell will become egg shell will be called as zygote. Okay, once the male gamete fuses with the nucleus of the egg shell, then it will become diploid or 2N, diploid zygote. One from the male gamete and other egg shell will be having a female gamete. Both fusion of both male and female gamete take place in the egg shell. Okay, so once the fusion takes place, then the egg shell will be called as zygote. Okay, zygote leads to the formation of embryo. Once zygote is formed, will divide continuously to form to become embryo. Got it? The second type of male gamete is there. One more male gamete is there. I will write here with the black ink. The second male gamete. It comes out of the synergid cells. It comes out of the synergid cells and travel all the way towards the central. There it fuses with the diploid polar nuclei. These blue color structures are polar nuclei. So the second male gamete which is present in the synergid cells, it comes out of the synergid cells and travels in the cytoplasm of the central cell, large central cell. This is a large central cell. Large central cell. This large central cell will be having two polar nuclei. With the two polar nuclei, the male gamete will fuse, so making it triploid. 1, 2, 3. Okay. The second male gamete fuses with diploid polar nuclei, forming it triploid condition, making it triploid, making it triploid. So this kind of fusion is known as triple fusion. Triple fusion. Okay, generally there are two male gametes are released in the synergid cells. One male gamete will fuse with the nucleus of the egg shell, forming zygote. Okay, this process of fusion of male gamete with the egg shell is known as syngamy. Got it? The second male gamete, it travels in the cytoplasm of the large central cell and makes fusion with the polar nuclei, which is already diploid. So once two polar nuclei it fuses, it will become three nucleus or 3n condition. So this kind of triploid means 3n condition. So this kind of fusion is known as triple fusion. Okay, you just see here. So this whole structure, so these are antipodal cells will be also be there at the Charles end, antipodal cells. Podal cells, okay. So we'll see what antipodal cells do later on. First, we'll concentrate only on two kinds of fusions here. First fusion takes place between the male gamete and the egg shell nucleus. So that is syngamy. Second fusion takes place between the male gamete with the diploid polar nuclei. So totally two fusions in a single cell. See, this is a whole single cell, right? So in a single cell, or that is embryo sac cell, two fusions will take place. So as two fusions are taking place, so this kind of fertilization is called as double fertilization. Double fertilization. Got it? So double fertilization means generally pollen grain releases two male gametes in the synergid cells. One will go and fuse with the egg shell nucleus, and that will call it as syngamy. The other male gamete fuses with the diploid polar nuclei. Okay, this kind of fusion, two kinds of fusions are known as double fertilization, which is occurring in a single large central cell, which is known as embryo sac cell. Embryo sac. In embryo sac, there are two kinds of fusions will take place. One fusion will take place with the one male gamete will fuse with the polar nuclei, or triple fusion, and the other male gamete fuses with the egg shell, that is syngamy. So syngamy as well as triple fusion. So both are known as, both together called as double fertilization. Okay, this is the process which is unique in, this double fertilization process is unique to flowering plants. Flowering plants. Okay. So this is the main fertilization, main theme of fertilization. So in the next class, we will try to study about the post-fertilization events such as seed formation, embryo development, what is the fruit, what is seed, that things we will study in the next class. Got it? Okay. Thank you.